Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Dark Spectrum. Considering we live in such a technological society with surveillance tracking our every move, it's hard to believe someone could disappear without a trace. Even so, over 500,000 people go missing every year in the US alone. In some cases, once the missing is found, more questions are presented than answers. Here is 5 more strange disappearances. On March the 31st, 2006, an Ohio State medical student by the name of Brian Schaeffer seemingly disappeared in thin air. Schaeffer went out with friends on the night of March the 31st to celebrate the beginning of spring break. Later he was separated from them and they assumed he had gone home. A security camera near the entrance of the bar recorded him briefly talking to 2 women just before 2 a.m. April 1st, and then apparently re-entering the bar without any evidence of him leaving the area. Schaeffer has not been seen or heard from since. Schaeffer's disappearance has been especially puzzling to investigators since there was no other publicly accessible entrance to the bar at the time. Some interest and suspicion has been directed at a friend of Schaeffer's who accompanied him that night, but he refused to take a lie detector test. While foul play has been suspected, including the possible involvement of the infamous smiley-faced serial killer, it has also been speculated that he might be alive and living somewhere else under a new identity. On November 29, 1980, a storm hit the city of Duncan in Vancouver Island, British Columbia. At 6 that evening, right before the height of the storm, a 32-year-old man by the name of Granger Taylor paid a visit to Bob's Grill, one of his favorite haunts. At 6:30, Granger Taylor paid his bill, left the diner, and drove off in his 1972 light blue Datsun truck. He was never seen again. Granger was a mechanical prodigy, often described as a genius when it came to mechanics. Granger was able to restore a steam engine to its former glory, and in 1973, the province of British Columbia purchased it, and it now is on display at the BC Forest Discovery Center. Granger eventually grew bored of earthly engines and shifted his focus to UFOs. He built a flying saucer replica from scrap metal and spent hours in his ship obsessing over the mechanics of interstellar travel. Granger came to believe that he had made contact with aliens, even explaining he had been invited to go on an interstellar voyage. The morning following his disappearance, he left this note behind. Despite many searches, he has never been found. On September 27, 2014, 30-year-old Utah social worker Kailyn Lotter vanished without a trace. In a surveillance video released by police, Lotter is seen walking her dog earlier in the day. Police say that she was having an animated conversation while no one was around. On the final surveillance video, she is running from her condo looking behind her. She steps out of range of the surveillance camera. That was the last time she was seen alive. Kailyn's body was discovered December 2014 in the Jordan River, 6 miles from her Murray apartment. The autopsy results for Kailyn Lotter were inconclusive and leaves no closure for the family. She had called 911 a few times within the 24 hours of her disappearance.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
They're stealing from my house. Get the out of my house. Shut up.
Are they saying anything?
Yeah, I heard someone say, hey, go in there, so there's obviously two of them.
So you haven't seen them, you can just hear them?
Yes, correct. Don't do that, Cheryl. The door's still locked. It's locked. They must have a key or something. Why is the door still locked? Well, I can't explain that, but I heard, like, two people talking.
On February 9th, 2004, a 21-year-old nursing student named Moira Murray disappeared after a car crash on Route 112 near Woodsville, New Hampshire. That afternoon, before she left the university campus, she emailed her professors and work supervisors writing that she was taking a week off due to a death in the family. According to her family, there had not been a death. At 7:27 p.m., a passing motorist who lived near Route 112 stopped at the scene of a crash and asked the woman driving the car if she needed assistance. She declined, claiming to have called roadside assistance. Upon arriving home several minutes later, the motorist reported the incident to the emergency services. At 7:46 p.m., law enforcement arrived, but the woman was already gone. Police traced the vehicle to Moira Murray. Her whereabouts remain unknown. On February 8, 2012, just before the anniversary of the disappearance of Moira Murray, a YouTube channel by the name of 112 Dirtbag uploaded a video. The name of the channel is significant because Dirtbag is the name referred in interviews by Moira's father, who believes she was abducted. And 112 is the road connected to her disappearance. Police traced down the man who uploaded the video but could find no evidence linking him to the disappearance. On October 8, 2009, Bobby Jamison, 44, his wife Cheryl, 40, 6-year-old Madison, and their dog Macy loaded their pickup truck, headed into Oklahoma's San Boyas Mountains, and were never seen alive again. The family traveled 30 miles to an area called Red Oak because Bobby and Cheryl were thinking of buying a 40-acre plot of land. They visited an associate of the landowner, and when the meeting was done, went for a short walk. After they returned to their vehicle, they drove a little further, and then, with the truck left locked in the middle of a dirt track, they vanished. Bobby and Cheryl spoke to a local pastor about their belief that their home was invaded by dark spirits and that an exorcism might be needed. This was because Madison had started talking to an imaginary friend named Emily. Both friends and family agreed with the Jamisons that their home was haunted, and a few have shared that they too experienced odd things inside the house. The police found surveillance footage from outside the Jamisons' home, The video shows Bobby and Sherilyn walking back and forth around 20 times from their house to their truck, loading items in a zombie-like trance. Sometimes they weren't even carrying anything at all. At times they stopped and stood with a vacant look in their faces. Police searched the truck and found Bobby and Sherilyn's cell phone, $32,000 in cash, maps, a GPS, Sherilyn's purse and wallets. In addition, they found the family's thirsty and malnourished dog. The vehicle was in working order, had fuel, and hadn't been in an accident. 4 years after their disappearance, the skeletal remains of the Jamison family were discovered by deer hunters. Due to the extensive decomposition that had occurred since their disappearance, it was deemed impossible to determine the cause of death.